This review is of Oppenheimer, a film that has been heralded as one of the best films of the century. Well, the century is still very, very new, so it's pretty much not a really big compliment to say, from 2000 to 2024, this is one of the best films. Now, if they'd said in the past 100 years, that would be a big compliment. For those of you who don't know, Oppenheimer was an American Jew who learned about physics and stuff and quantum physics, and he actually went to Europe to study it so that he could teach it here in America because he realized just how important it was. He was extremely intelligent. And he was also very, very skilled in working with people and figuring out how to organize things. He had a wide range of skills and talents. He was also arrogant. He was a womanizer, and so on and so forth. But, whatever it is, pros and cons about this guy, he was critical to the creation of the atomic bomb. And I'm pretty sure that eventually we would have made the atomic bomb anyways. But one of the reasons Russia got the atomic bomb was because there were moles in the project. And he was, I'm assuming, he did not reveal the risk early on when he found out about it because it involved a close friend of his named Chevalier, which is funny because Chevalier means like knight, K-Knight, But anyways, is this one of the greatest stories ever? Or versus greatest movies ever? Is it one of the greatest stories ever? Well, I think it's a very important story. I think it definitely touches on some very critical things that people should be thinking about. I don't think it's one of the best movies ever. I think that the people in the movie did a really good job. I will not deny that. They did a really good job. And I really can't fault it other than for taking some liberties, perhaps, in determining what was presented about Oppenheimer. I don't know the sources, and Hollywood is famous for, and not just Hollywood, but things that are presented as being based on true stories and so on, or documentaries. Very, very often, what I have learned is that it's only partially. It's not, when they say based on, that doesn't mean that it's 100% based on, or even 90% or 80%. Sometimes it's like 20%, and they decide, well, let's spice this up. Let's introduce this and that and the other thing to make the film more compelling. Now, I don't know anything about Oppenheimer personally. He is not somebody that came up in history class when I was in school. I know the name. I know that he was in the Manhattan Project, or whatever it's called, but I don't know anything about the guy other than what's been presented in this film. So I cannot say how accurate it is in terms of him and Einstein and Teller and Strauss and everybody else. It's just that would require way more research than I'm willing to put into it. Please do keep in mind that there are a lot of very famous people in this movie, and it's about a very famous topic, and it's very, very true that it was one of the most important things in recent history. It's one of the things that unleashed the genie from the bottle, along with CRISPR-9 and AI. And it's one of those things where we got technology that we weren't ready for. Because as a species, we're too immature. Too many of us are selfish, self-serving, destructive, self-destructive, and lots of other negatives. So yeah, it's... Now, I will say this. My son generally is interested in action-oriented films. And this is a long film, 3 hours, approximately. And yet, I did periodically ask him, "Are you bored?" And he was, no, he did not get bored. Now, that said, my son really likes science, so that may have played a major role. He also really likes history, and World War II is one period of time that he's very interested in. So that also probably played a role in why he was not bored. But he's 15, and he was, I mean, yeah. So that definitely says something about the film, I think. But I can't fault the film. It's a drama. And I would love to know, this, in some ways, Oppenheimer is portrayed as being kind of a martyred person. And that Strauss was the one who was responsible for him being pilloried, and basically taken from being a national hero to somebody who was cautioning against nuclear war and things, to somebody who had lost his voice, or had rather his voice taken away from him. But it does very amply, that section of the movie does very amply demonstrate just how easy it is for people with power to destroy the lives of others. And I'm sure that if I were to make some of the videos that I would like to make, and if I were to provide enough evidence in them, that there would be people with a great deal of power who would be willing to destroy me in order to silence me. And I'm not even talking about cancel culture. That's a whole nother thing. I'm talking about people with the ability, the financial ability, and the connections and stuff, destroying somebody. And it's really hard to do anything about that, because look at Trump. He incited what happened after he lost the election, and Colorado said he was in violation of the Constitution, which he was. And yet, because Trump got several of the members of the Supreme Court in, he was acquitted. And to me, that just demonstrates, along with several other recent cases where the Supreme Court has, in my opinion, broken faith with the Constitution and with their sacred role, well, not sacred, but their role in moderating the government and keeping things honest. To me, there are several members of the Supreme Court who should be kicked out. And so we're being left with two evils, Trump and Biden, and neither of them are good for us. They're both full of crap, but now I'm digressing. I am so sorry. Is it worth watching? if you are interested in a drama, if you're interested in history, you're interested in science, any and all, or all of those things, and very, very, very well done acting, it is. However, I will tell you, there are sex scenes, there is partial nudity. So if you're going to have your teenager watching, you better have them nearby so you can put your hand over their eyes so they don't get to see it. Um, it it really was a good movie. Um, I'll give it an 8.5. Thanks for watching and hope you have a great day.